It was a historic day for India at the Oscars. RRR chartbuster Naatu Naatu, that had the entire world grooving to its beats, won the Best Original Song, and The Elephant Whisperer won the Best Documentary Shorts category. This is the first time India has won in either category. These surely are big wins. Indians are proud and elated, no doubt, and with good reason, when Deepika Padukone announced Naatu Naatu, calling it a banger on the Oscars stage. Many of us already knew this. After all, India's film industry is huge. It was a $1.2 billion industry last year. So here's a question. Do we really need an Oscar to validate our films? What does an Oscar win mean for us? And is it helpful? Remember, the Oscars are going through a viewership crisis too. Is Indian cinema really helping them more than they can help us? Here's a report.
All right. Are you guys ready? Ooh! RRR! RRR!
RRR super hit track Naatu Naatu has become a global sensation. Today, it achieved a historic feat. The captivating song won an Oscar for Best Original Song, beating heavyweights like Lady Gaga and Rihanna. There's no doubt that the award is well-deserved and must be celebrated. But it triggers mixed feelings. Does India really need the Oscar approval? After all, the Academy has an ivory tower-ish approach to world cinema. Does this make it the better judge of all movies everywhere? We don't think so. Just look at today's anchor, Jimmy Kimmel. He referred to RRR as a Bollywood movie.
If you go too long, we're going to Bollywood gong show your ass. So let's get this going. Please welcome.
It's a Telugu language film from India's Tollywood industry. The description only reinforced misguided notions about Indian cinema. But that's okay. We'll reiterate a fact. All of Indian cinema is not Bollywood. And it's not all song and dance. Now let's talk about India's other win at the Oscars, The Elephant Whisperer. It emerged as the winner in the Best Documentary Shorts category. It tells the story of an indigenous couple as they care for an orphaned baby elephant. It also made history.
I stand here today to speak for the sacred bond between us and our natural world, for the respect of indigenous communities, and empathy towards other living beings we share our space with, and finally, for coexistence.
But the 2022 Indian documentary feature, All That Breathes, did not win today. It has been critically hailed. It was nominated in the Best Documentary Feature Film category. And don't take us the wrong way. This is not a case of sour grapes. Because 2 out of 3 strikes is pretty good. But does this not beg the question, does Hollywood like India in a certain way? From Slumdog Millionaire to The Elephant Whisperer, do movies that show India in a specific light get to win? Everything that looks exotic and third world seems to have a place on the Oscar stage when nominated. And that's another thing, the nomination. A lot of good foreign films don't get nominated. Observers say that films spending anywhere between 3 to 10 million on promotions were nominated. The RRR team spent $9.7 million to lobby for a push at the Oscars. Over the years, certain countries have garnered attention in the foreign films category, but they're mainly from Europe, while others are neglected. Over 74 years, the Oscar has gone to a European nation 58 times. And this is not for the lack of trying by other nations. Lower-income countries rarely crack the list, let alone win an Oscar. 5 African countries have been represented. 3 have won. 2 of them were directed by Europeans, and the third by a white South African. Sometimes, movies are not considered international enough, like when they contain too much use of the English language. There was outrage when a Nigerian movie was rejected in 2020 for this reason. But English is the official language of the country. The Oscars are not without a cultural bias. Also, look at the paucity of female nominees in the Best Director category. This year has an all-male slate. Or look at the 2015 movement, or #OscarsSoWhite. It brought the sheer lack of racial diversity to the fore. An example of this is today's big win for Asia, if it can be called that. Everything Everywhere All at Once won, well, Everything Everywhere All at Once. It scored multiple awards including Best Picture, Best Director and Best Actress. It was a historic win for Michelle Yeoh. She is the first Asian to win for Best Actress. She had an important message.
For all the little boys and girls who look like me watching tonight, this is a beacon of hope and possibilities. This is proof that dreams dream big and dreams do come true.
And for women of color, it does seem like a dream come true. Yo is only the second Asian woman to ever be nominated, also the second woman of color to win in this category. The lack of diversity at the Oscars is staggering. Now remember, the Oscars have been facing a viewership crisis. Could this be one of the reasons? The ratings continue to pale in comparison to those of yesteryear, and the slaps on stage can't seem to save it. The numbers started dropping 5 years ago. Since then, they've seen a 37% decline each year. And it's no secret that viewership increases when popular films are nominated. So maybe nominating a movie like RRR helped them? Despite all of this, why do we continue to lobby for an Oscar win? Because it opens up the world market for films, especially for films confined largely to India. They're famous in a few Far Eastern countries, but they're yet to tap the lucrative Western markets, which is great. We hope they do. But the internationalization of the Oscars does more harm than good. National film industries begin aspiring to gain Hollywood standards. They want similar popularity. And this could sound idealistic, but it's not. The real cinematic gems are often in more marginalized cinemas of countries across the world, and they don't need Western validation to be good.